This is a short video to show you how to go out to the New York State Clearinghouse and connect to one of their servers, whether it's an ArcGIS server or a web mapping service, and use the imagery that they have available inside ArcGIS 10. This is the home page for the New York State Clearinghouse at gis.ny.gov. They have a link to ortho imagery right there. Click on that. This is a excuse me while I bring that back up. This is an interface for accessing their data online. You can use view the imagery using this tool link. You can also create map services, and you can do direct downloads, which I'll talk about at the end. So for doing map service, you click on this, and it'll have some description as to which one you might want to use. And we can scroll down and take a look at those. What you really want to do is, I usually go to the clearinghouse one, this one here. Let's go to this website. And we have a couple different services. We can build an ArcGIS server here using this link. And so if you highlight it and right click and copy, we can take that link and use it inside of ArcGIS. So let's do that. I copied it. Let me pull this out of the way. Here's our map document. And over here on the right hand side in our catalog, there is a folder, a set of tools, linkages for GIS servers. And if you go down, there's one that says add a GIS server right here. And that was the URL that we copied. And you double click on that to start the little wizard. You say you're going to use GIS data. Click next and simply paste in the URL that you just copied. It copied this little bullet in the front. Let's take that off. So this is the complete URL I'm using, and say finish. And it will make the connection to the ArcGIS server that they have available. It's right down here. I expand it out. And this is the data sets, the digital imagery that they have available. Different years are here. They have ortho indexes down here. So if you're not quite sure where the data is, you can drag, or what year you want, you can click on that index and pull it into place. You can turn it on, but at this stage nothing really happens yet. What we need to do is actually expand out that layer, and we see there's an index for all of the different years as well as the different resolutions. So if we were interested in the most recent, we might just go down the list here and turn on all the ones that are 11 index for 2011, and we'll see where in the state the data has been collected in 2011. And we don't have anything for Suffolk, which is where we want to be, so that's not going to work. So let's turn those off, and we'll come down and try 2010 and turn on those indices. Now there is a logic to this. We have these which are C are collected in the central part of the central state, and we can turn those off. The East are Eastern, Central, Western, and Long Island, and they're basically on state plain zones. So we could have jumped right to the Long Island stuff just by using the L here. So I'm going to turn off the Western. So right here, this is a layer showing 2010 imagery, Long Island, half-foot resolution, 4-band, and there it is. Now let's zoom into it. It's just the index so far, but at least we now know that that's the one we want to have. We can then collapse this, and we can come over here, look for the 2010, and then pull that into our table of contents and turn it on. And there's our imagery. So it's that easy to pull this out, figure out what you want, and bring it into play. And just turn it on and use it, and map from it and so forth. And if let's just zoom into one section of this. a little bit so we can start seeing some detail. And if you want another year, you can just grab the whole year, in this case 2010 IR, drop it on top of that and see what the infrared looks like once we turn it on. And there's the infrared. So that's the process for building, say, an ArcGIS server connection. Now, there were others there. Let me pull it back into play here. If we scroll down a little bit, there was another mapping service, a web mapping service, which allows you to go out and grab these, and also decided you only wanted 2010 and you don't want any other year, you can just build a service to the 2010 connection to the 2010 server right there, and you would copy that, and we're going to build, and this is a WMS, so it's a web mapping service. Let's pull that out of the way, and we do it the same way. Over in our catalog under GIS servers, we come down to the WMS server and double click on that to add one, paste in our new URL and say OK. These are public servers, so we don't need a password user. And here's the service right here. It's identified as the 2010, and we can grab that 20. We can turn these off, and we can grab that 2010 that we just did, pull that into place, and turn it on. So however you want to build that connection, whether it's a web mapping service, whether it's an ArcGIS service, either way works. Sometimes you might have a little graphic anomalies from one to the other. Switch to the other, try it, and so forth. Now, this of course means that you have to have the internet connection all the time in order to grab these and to use these. So what if you want to download the data? You want to have it on your hard drive. You don't want to go out to the internet. You want to have to rely on that network connection being there all the time. There is the option to download the data. So let me pull in the web page again, and we'll go back to one step back, a couple, back to that page that had the viewing option, and where we got to the web mapping service, there was also a direct download. If you click on that, it drops you into an interface where you can view by year or view by county the available data. So if we click on county, we can then say, okay, let me look at what county we want. Suffolk. Scroll down a ways. There's Suffolk. We have these 4 years available. We were interested in 2010. If we click on that, we will look at the 2010 data. It's telling us here what the coordinate system is. It has a README file and an index, so you can look at things. If you've got a specific study area you're interested in, not the whole county, then you can key your efforts to just that study area. You can also pull down these data sets either as individual tiles, town by town. Again, allows you to pick out a quarter of the town, a third of the town, a small little study area for a specific development, things like that. Or you can grab the whole town over here on the right hand side and download a zip file of all of those tiles. And then you would uncompress the zip file into a folder, and you would bring those in. They might be in Mr. SID format, or they might be individual tiles, but you can bring them all into your ArcGIS map document. Obviously, I'm not going to download these because you can see this is 3.5 gigabytes of data for this zip alone. It's going to take a lot. 3 here, 9, 12, and so forth, before you're going to have a lot of gigabytes of data to get the whole Suffolk. But it might be well worth the effort and the time downloading it if it's something that you must have and you need regardless of whether you have an internet connection or not. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Just email me at sds3@cornell.edu.